Hey, Maureen, it's Alex. So I am live streaming on YouTube right now. Yeah, now and I made the live stream unlisted, so I don't know if unless people, no, I don't think anybody can see it unless I share it with someone. So I wanted to see if I don't know if you could see it. So I could type the link in and send you a text. Is this a mobile phone? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Actually, someone is watching now. Hey, wet dog. Why don't I just read it out to you? The link. Okay, hold on. It's let me see. Let me get the thing. As you can see, wet dog, we're doing a technical testing here. So it's youtu.be/dv dash EOLXDTP, and then I think it's O, or it could be zero. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Give it a try. See you later. Bye. Well, that was that. Just testing, with an art group that wanted to um, get some online classes. So, yeah, I'm going to just work a little bit on this, scrape off some paint on this painting here. Let me go over to OBS. Boink. And we'll crank this up a little bit. Look at that. Pro. Um, so here's what I'm going to do. You want to know a little bit about what I like to do with paint? I like to put thick brush strokes on. Let me change cameras here, handheld, but I'm going to try to hold it real steady. I like to put thick brush strokes on, and I try not to mess with them too much when they're wet. I like them to be a brush stroke, and not kind of fan all the ridges out of it or smooth it out too much. And I've really learned to resist the urge to do any of that when it is, or do as little as possible, especially in the beginning when it's wet. So this is dry here, and I'm going to scrape that down. But it's like the grooves of a record or something. Maybe there's like a conversation recorded in the grooves of the stroke from who knows. So now if I this I'm not fond of. Only in certain places. It's usually forming, they're happening on the edges of spots where I don't want, like right there between this building back here and this right here, the crosswalk. There's like a little, it happens. There's a ridge that builds up there. There's one. Those I might not mess with. Like I feel one right there I want to get rid of. But I used to take a fan brush when it was wet, and I would like whiff, and I would try to whiff those wet ridges off. But now I just let them harden in there, and I'll just selectively scrape a few off. I'm going to keep all the nuggets on this, I might scrape a little bit of the ridges off around those letters. But there you go. I got a few paintings I can do this to, so I'll just put this back up here. Oh. Let's go back to the 3-shot. Look at that. Got these all lined up good. A little further. And this goes, yes, right there, lined up. Nice. This palette knife, right here, it is razor sharp. That edge right there. You could cut yourself on that. I scrape, and it's incredible that that piece of metal has gotten that sharp from just scraping paint off canvas. You'd think you'd have to sharpen it on something harder than that, but and also you can see how curved it's gotten. I've literally scraped that much metal off of this curve here. It's straight on this side. And this is a very fine Japanese. I have one new one that I got a couple of years ago, and just for when this one finally does break. They break eventually. But it's a Holbein palette knife. It's like their Japanese samurai sword. They're really good. And then I grab this thing. I'm giving away too much here. I grab this thing and I bend it, and it's like a carpenter's tool. I don't know the name for it, but I scratch the ridges off, just the ones I want. And see, it's dry now. Let me test how this feels. Pretty good. So you can see right there, it came off like a little ribbon. I can't get that close up, but like right there, boom, got it, smooth. Wham, you could see all those little, they're like shavings. That's the paint ridges that I don't like. Boom, gone. See, and then by letting the paint dry, letting that stroke lock in there, and resisting the urge to, not everyone has the urge for kind of a smooth canvas. But a lot of people do. And there's something about, I'm a big fan of working wet paint over dry paint. And sometimes you get so many ridges that you just want to scrape it flat so you can do something sort of cleaner on top of it. All right. I got to be careful with this canvas here. Now, it's a little dry, so I'm gonna mist this oil paint with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Let that work its magic. Rubbing alcohol will melt anything. It'll melt dry acrylic. It will not melt this surface, though, on the patent pending Schaefer value board. Will not melt that, but this dry oil paint here from yesterday, it will. Even this like really dry stuff up there, it'll do it. Acrylic oil. So let's scrape a few more off. ridges. Yeah, that feels just right. I don't take them all off, but I can feel them when I run my hand over it. And they the ridges, they accumulate at the edge of the stroke. Places that you probably would notice in your work, let's say you paint people's faces, they tend to happen around the nostrils, and the bridge of the nose gets a ridge, and you want it to look like a highlight, but there's, and sometimes you use it to your effect. If I wouldn't be doing this to an area that was textured, that I wanted to have a really lot of texture, like this building here in the foreground and that sign. I'm going to leave those. Yeah, that'll be it. Rest of those I like. Well, except for a little bit right there. So that's, an episode of Behind the Artist Studio. Tips and tricks and stuff. Oh, I had this cord hanging in there the whole time. I guess the only one chatting, I don't want to hog the whole chat, but it looks amazing. That's cool, man. See, it's unlisted. I made it unlisted. How did you find out about it? It says 2 viewers. Do you subscribe and then it sent you a notice or something? Okay. There's a couple of little spots I want to touch up right now. Actually, maybe I should work on this a little. I could put some people in, maybe. I'm not sure if I want to do a long stream, because sometimes what I end up doing in the studio is really boring. So tell me, Wet Dog, how did you come on this? Because when I started this live stream, yeah. Did you get a notification for it or something? I've been watching the whole time. But the thing that I did different was, instead of making this a public... Cool, thanks, man. Instead of making this public, I said unlisted. Unlisted. I guess... I don't know. I got all the notifications. All right. Well, if anything, if I don't want to work on this, I'm at least going to touch up 3 little spots. Right here. What have I learned lately? I've learned a lot more about Prussian blue with these last few live streams. I saw you originally on that show with Adam, what's his name, where there is a place, and I love your art, so I subbed you and I get notified every time you go live. Cool, man. Originally on that show with Adam. Oh, Adam Papagan. With the mustache. And he is a total OJ. He's so cool, man. He has just the things he's fascinated in and the stuff he does. I'm a fan of Adam Papagan. Shout out. Little further over, yep. Get a straight line. Just use like a painting shield. Adam Papagan. And so then you must know Mr. Let's Paint TV too, right? John Kilduff? You must know that feller. And I'm going to work on this. I'm going to put some people in. Just a few. This is Camper's Corner. This is the corner of Town and 7th in downtown Los Angeles. It is a dive bar in Skid Row. Oh man, John Kilduff is great. He is a legend. He is underappreciated. There should be a giant John Kilduff painting at Eric Andre's crib, like a huge one. No? I mean, come on. That's what I'm saying. Why does not Eric Andre have just a bunch of paintings of John's in his 3 houses or something? This message is held for review. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh, you can show that. Show. I guess because you used the word, the F word. They suddenly were like, I mean, I clicked not adult content. Oh, we have another instructable moment here, guys. We're going to teach you how to manage. Let's go to the top-down cam here. Boom. We're going to teach you how to manage your Gamsol, how to reuse it, recycle it, use as much as possible. Okay, this is my brush cleaner right here. It's going to be sideways, but just get with it. This is my brush cleaner here. There, we'll put that there. And that is essential. You always got to have a brush cleaner. I mean, if I go plein air painting and I forgot my brush cleaner, it's like you might as well have forgot your brushes almost. It's a big, well, you're worse to forget your brushes because then you're finger painting. But you got to have your brush cleaner. And I'll show you what it looks like. This is where it's got a gasket. It's got these little clips here. And this is inside the brush cleaner, you put your solvent. It's commonly known as turpentine, but the Gamsol is not turpentine. It is a mineral spirit. This is the one I use. There's other kinds. There's terpenoid and stuff like that. And this is where you clean your brush. So inside here, there's a cup. This way. There's a little cup with holes. And that sits inside, and it's not as long as the bottom of the thing. So this is what you're rubbing your dirty brush up against, and it's cleaning it kind of like a washboard. Okay? And I'll just take a dirty paper towel and I'll just wipe the inside of that when I pull it out, because I'm changing my Gamsol. My Gamsol was so dirty, it was just awful. Okay? And I'm gonna stir this up, and I'm gonna pour it in here. Okay? But before I do that, I'm gonna open this up, because I did that about a week ago. I had a dirty Gamsol, and I poured it in here, and it's just been sitting on a shelf in my studio here. So I'm gonna open this carefully. Boom. And look inside there. There's a liquid. And there's a bunch of gray gunk at the bottom. That is the pigment. It sinks to the bottom because it's heavier than the Gamsol. So the Gamsol, when you let it sit, all the silt, like a wine bottle or I don't know, all those dirt stuff sinks to the bottom, and you have clean Gamsol floating at the top. Okay, so I take a dirty cup here, And I'll just pour this. You don't even have to really be very careful about it. Oh, well, there I just blew it. But anyway, you do have to be a little more careful. But it won't matter because this will be sunken in next week. This stuff, I'm going to just do all of it now. I'm going to mix this up. That was so perfect that I blew it. But mix this up, just stir it all up. It's super dirty already. I'm going to pour this in here. And then I'm going to mix all this together. And then pour this into my into my old spaghetti sauce right here. And see, you don't want this going down the drain. You don't want this going down. You want as little of this going into the dump, you know? So when you do that, you're doing a good thing by keeping a lot of it out of the trash. I can only accept a certain amount of customers. And so I'll even have more to recycle next time because we haven't wasted anything, but we did not specifically get to reuse the Gamsol this time. But fortunately, I still have enough clean here. We'll just pour this in. Blub, 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 blub. I'm going to put this back in here. Fill her up with the clean. And we'll revisit this at a time in the near future. And we definitely got over one complete refilling waiting for us, as well as whatever we got left over here in our games. So we're running out, and the art supply store is not open. And there you go. Look at that. Reuse, recycle, reduce. And when this gets full, eventually it'll just get completely full of pigment, gray sludge, and you can't even put any more in here. Then you just take this to the spot in your neighborhood where you go and recycle household liquids and household waste that doesn't go in the dump, like oils or batteries. There's a place here in downtown LA that takes paint waste and stuff, and then they will totally perfectly take care of it. How about that? Did we teach you guys something right there? You taught me. I taught myself that when you're working with globs, sometimes they do blob out. But that has not happened to me in so long, where the pigment that was sunk to the bottom actually plopped out. It usually was pretty firmly settles in there. Okay, we'll go back to the 3-shot. Oh, and then just to, in case someone is watching, Maureen, let me turn on this iPad here. And I'm just going to do a little proof of capability here. Let me see. If I go to iPad shot, nope, not yet. Hold on. So we are going to go back to this. We'll close that. We'll quit it. And then we'll reopen it. Bam. And then I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to mirror the screen. Look at that. Oh, wait. You don't see it yet. Look at this. The iPad. There is the iPad on the screen. And a picture-in-picture of me working on it. So I can be like, we're going to go to Procreate. I can show you You know, oh, here's my layers button over here in the corner, right there with my finger. I'm pointing at it, and you can then see it happening live. So if we wanted to do a little Procreate demo, we got the layout here. I would just have to put the iPad in a spot where it was fixed in the picture-in-picture and maybe make it a little bit smaller. Or bigger, I'm not sure. But there you go. So that would be how that could possibly work for Maureen and the Art Guild. And we'll just go back to the 3-shot. We'll timestamp that, and we can send Maureen a link if she's not already watching. We have 2 viewers. I really think that's because I have it unlisted. Or I just don't, not that many people care. Let's see. Put a little medium in here. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. All right, we're just going to put a few people in. Not a big deal. That is so dirty. Grab a few brushes. So where's my... When I'm getting in the key... Oh boy. Running out of colors here. When I'm getting in the key of a painting... Okay. Just squeeze out a little white. I kind of want to know what the value of something is. I guess what the value of something white in the shade is. Because the shade is darker, you know, so something white in the shade is going to be gray, you know. So and once you know what that gray is, like here, getting close, it's somewhere between purple, blue, and green, then everything in the shade is going to be darker than that value. So once you find out how light or dark something white in the shade is, it's going to be maybe here or here or here. It's not white. It is white, but in the painting of the shade, it's gray. And then everything in the shade has to be darker than white. You can't have something be lighter than white in reality unless it's glowing. And then it's glowing. Okay. Close enough. Interesting. Very nice. Let's give that guy a couple of legs. And let's grab another brush. Okay, there's white. See, sometimes what I'll do, once I got that key, once I got that note, I'll paint it somewhere off the canvas. Like I'll just go, okay, there's a little square of that gray right there. I just painted it. And I'll just leave it there for this painting. Or, you know, keep going. I'm watching, just can't go in the chat thingy. Oh, well, cool. Did you, maybe you got to see you could rewind possibly and see the demo of what I could do with the iPad. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to mix a dark and put a few dark shapes in here. I got some darks. Oh, we'll just... Maybe this guy's got a... And then, you know, maybe we'll mix kind of a little brown. I got some of this orange. It looks like he's going to have an orange shirt. He or she, I don't know. Give him some gray pants. Okay, I'm going to give myself some Prussian blue. Let's do it. Squeeze that out. Getting in the zone. The painting zone. I got bright red. I don't know. I'm too much of a. Just jumping too far ahead of things to squeeze any permanent rows out. But I got bright red and I got Prussian blue, and bright red, it's red and blue make purple, okay? But they don't always make the brightest purple, because you might have a greenish blue or a orangish red. That's going to kill a little bit of your purple. Oh, gotcha. Let me see, did I miss a message? Whoa. Sorry about that. You ever mistakenly start calling someone? Cool. Gotcha. You probably need to log into your YouTube account in order to make comments, I would imagine. That's probably the case. Let's make these trees a little taller. Maybe they're not, but for this composition they are. And some green. Ooh, we got some colors here. That was too green. Let's get some orange in there. Good. Well, let's make that other tree taller too. I'm just going to forget the top of this arch. What, the trees, they have grown higher than the arch. And wider than that arch also. That's the deal. And they filled in. You can't really see the detail very well. This camera here, it makes a fuzzy image. I think I need a different camera. Oh, you know what I need? I need a dongle that goes HDMI to USB. That's what I need. Because then I can plug that sucker in and I can swap this camera out. This is a USB camera. I have an HDMI, really nice camera. But I don't have a dongle that goes from HDMI to USB. But that's something I can order. Very good. Okay. I'll just keep painting. Put some more people in. Oh yeah, I mean, it's Skid Row, so there is people on the sidewalks and stuff. So, if Maureen, maybe she's not watching anymore. Yeah, nobody's watching. So we're going to stop the stream, but that was a good test.